Okay, so today I will be installing some MIP CVDs in my XX-CR. This is an original Team Losi XX-CR buggy. This is the original body. I painted this when I was 8 or 10, 8 to 10 years old, somewhere in there. I got this maybe even earlier than that. I got this a very long time ago, and it's been sitting in storage for about the past 15 years, maybe not that long, 14 years. Yeah, 14 to 15 years. And I recently rebuilt the transmission. All the gears were perfect. Just re-lubed the diff, and the rear bearings were seized up entirely. I think probably just because the last time I ran it was out at a track in, God, that must have been the one way out in Antioch. Yeah, there used to be a track, it might still be there, there's a track out in Antioch, Tennessee, that had, that kind of red clay mud type track, and it had just rained, and I drove it, and so mud got everywhere, obviously, and the end result of mud getting everywhere is that, and me not cleaning it because the bearings seized up on the outside of the hubs. The reason I didn't clean it was because when I was younger I was extremely impatient, and the electronics that you see in here are original to a point. They weren't actually in here when I started the refurbishing process. I put them all in my XX-4 four-wheel drive buggy, so it was decommissioned for quite some time. But the transmission, I don't know if you can hear, it still spins pretty easily, and the diff was in perfect shape. I was very surprised by that. No issues at all. So yeah, so today, like I said, I will be finding a very sharp knife without looking. Okay, sharp knife found. Let's get into this. Beautiful. I'm actually very happy with that I found this. Parts for old, the part of the problem is that Team Losi is the company, was sold to Horizon Hobby. They used to be an independent company, and now they are not. And parts for these old things are hard to find. So I've been sort of going on eBay and getting parts here and there. I remember one of the big things that used to break on this all the time was the rear bulkhead, the rear transmission, the rear A-arm mount, and so I have two of those that I bought forever ago, and now to hopefully make sure that I never have to replace the drive shafts, I will be replacing them now. Another thing that used to break on this all the time were the turnbuckles, all the time. Like I think on my very first outing, I broke one or two of them. They were really, really thin, really cheap steel. So yeah, but and so I've replaced all that with Lunsford titanium. So that's actual full titanium turnbuckles everywhere. So titanium there, titanium there, titanium in there, everywhere. So hopefully I won't have that problem again, because they don't make ooh, that bearing doesn't sound too good. I'll have to look at that, but they don't make tie rods or turnbuckles for this car anymore. So hopefully by going to titanium, that eliminates them ever breaking. But another thing I wanted to avoid, these drive shafts are steel. Hopefully you can see that. They are steel to a point, but then after that down here they become plastic. And while they haven't posed any problems to me, these CVDs were super cheap. got them incredibly fast off of a guy on eBay. So have to thank him for that. And they were a good deal. So I was like, why not? Might as well give the old girl a little tune-up. So that's what I will be doing today. It's not a very complicated thing. It just takes a little bit of time and patience, as with most things RC. Alright, tires off. Now then, I can't really decide the best way to go about it, so what I'm going to do is just do it the way I've done it before, which is to take top shock mount out like that, and then that almost frees up the drive shaft. So hopefully what I can do now is rotate that a bit more. Now the one thing, most MIP kits these days actually include, hopefully you'll be able to see that, they include this little bit here, the output yoke, but these are so great on these old buggies that they don't bother. They just include the actual drive shaft itself. So let's go ahead and build one and get it in place. MIP, and well, I suppose everybody always includes stickers with everything. So I've got I have so many stickers. So many stickers. Anyways, ooh, I didn't open it up quite enough. This X-Acto knife is getting a little dull. Ooh, very dull. Wow, I need to replace it. So this is the kit. Has some thread lock and some lube. I have lube, which is always good to have. And these are called shinies, for obvious reasons. They are incredibly shiny. I'm not sure if you can tell just exactly how shiny they are on camera, but I can tell you that they are incredibly shiny. I'm not really sure what the significance of that is. Being shiny does not seem to be anything other than a design statement, but MIP has always made good stuff, and I've got MIP drive shafts on almost everything that I own. I have, yeah. So, and I haven't had them go wrong once. So hopefully, being shiny won't impact their performance. And it's just the output shaft that's so this goes into the output yoke on the transmission, and then this goes into here with some bits, and this is what actually mounts, and this is what actually has the wheel mounted on it. So I'm not really sure why this is shiny but this is not, and if there's a significant difference. No idea. Not a clue. I'm sure that there's a really good explanation as to why it's shiny, but I'm just going to go ahead and go with the assumption that it's shiny because shiny adds horsepower, and when you're dealing with an electric car, you need as much turbo bullshit as you can get. So let's go ahead and build them. Alright, so first things first, as with all MIPs, hopefully this lube is still good. Even has their phone number on it. These are probably over 10 years old, so hopefully the lube is still good. It seems to be. Let me get a paper towel. I can't imagine why it wouldn't be, but you never know. So we're going to add little bit of lube. This lube is a bit scary because it looks like thread lock, but it's not. So, yeah. Let's get that all up in there. Nice and lubed. Okay. Then let's see if I have enough room to do it. So, do I have enough room to screw that in? Barely. Just barely. Let me go ahead and start it while it's out. This is also back in the day when they actually give you the tools that you need. These days it's very rare for anything to include any, I mean not even grease, I mean they don't even include thread lock anymore. They just, no, except that MIP is actually pretty good. I recently got some extra heavy duty for my, the crazy splined ones for my Stampede, and that came with a little thing of grease, but whoa, most of the stuff that I get these days does not come with any kind of lube or tools. Alright, so that's started. And we're going that into there. And then oop, wrong one, not this one. Get this shoved. Oh, maybe not. Oh no, definitely. Oh, no. Let's make sure. Axle coupling cross pin. Alright, so it is the shiny ones, which, you know, makes sense. Alright, and then let's, I wonder if my little tiny one here is small enough. Nope, even it's too big. Alright, so we're just going to have to use this little tool and crank it down. Alright, then add a little bit of lube inside of there. Okay. Well, there you go. One assembled Shiny CVD. Check that out. Very cool. Alright, so now let's put it on the car. Alright, pin out. Oil drive shaft out. So you can see, I mean, it's actually in okay condition. So I'll keep them as like a backup, but that plastic there, that never really sat right with me. So gone ahead and just eliminating that as a potential point of failure. Slide that on through. Ah, it's like butter. It's like absolute butter. make sure that got shins as needed, an axle to adjust dog bone spacing on out drives, blah blah blah. So I think I can just reuse the original spacer there. Yeah, don't even have to use the new parts. Sweetness. I think I'm going to reuse the old cross pins. I don't know if you can see, but this is the black one is the one they want me to use, and the silver, the one on the top, that's the old one. The old one's a little bit wider, and that fits into that slot in there in the wheel. And so basically the more surface area you can have in there, the better. So I'm going to keep the old pins, assuming they still fit in this new. Oh, perfect! Absolutely perfect. That's wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay. Now we just slip it in there. Oh, I love new stuff. New stuff is the best. Okay. Then we just reassemble the shock tower. Hopefully you guys can see that. I'm experimenting with using my iPhone as my camcorder, so we shall see how that goes. Could be terrible. You could not be able to see anything, and this video could be a complete waste of time. But hopefully that's not the case. So now, let's repeat the same on the other side here. Now this side does have the gear cover. You'll see RPM. RPM is another company that I adore. They make incredible stuff. In fact, incredible to the point that it's almost this plastic. This is ridiculous. On my Stampede, I also have an RPM gear cover, and the new MIP drive shafts that I got, the big ones, were so thick and they're so massive that when the suspension was compressed, it actually rubbed against the bottom of the gear cover. And so I thought, well, shit, all right. So I took a Dremel tool and tried to grind off some of the plastic, because most plastic is really pretty hard, and so you can grind it a bit like soft wood. It's kind of ridiculous. But this stuff, it didn't grind, it melted. It actually, and it melted in such a perfect manner. It was ridiculous. Like, using the Dremel tool, I was able to just melt the where it was, you know, where the contact patch was, just enough to allow for freedom. So this plastic is incredible. This cover is it's got to be, you know, again, over 10 years old, but it still has the same basic feel. You know, it doesn't feel like it's dried out at all or lost any of its strength. So yeah, I'm incredibly impressed with RPM products, and I will continue to purchase them. So let's get this off. Come on, there we go. So that one's off. Now this one might pose a little bit more of a problem. Pin out, spacer off, drive shaft out. So there is the other old one. All right, let's assemble this final thingamabob. Let's get it all lubed up in such. Get that lube on there. Lube has so many applications in life. It's such a great product. Doesn't matter what it's for. I think most things should be well lubricated most of the time. right. And then get lube off my fingers. One thing about lube is that because it is so lubricantable, it's difficult to get off of things. So it's important to apply lube, but not over apply lube. All right. Apply some lube there, some lube there. And then line up that sucker and get a shaft through it. Okay. Actually, I forgot to put. No, I didn't. I put Loctite on it. I forgot. One of the things I'm noticing, I'm only 27 years old, but I'm already starting to forget things. Like a freaking old dude. I swear. My mind is disintegrating already. Near 30. And it's all downhill, man. My mind will never be as good as it once was. Okay, so that's the other one assembled. Let's go ahead and shove her on in there. Alright. This one might be a little trickier because I have this buggy was released with something called the Hydra Drive. Now, for all intensive purposes, it really is just a huge. It's this. I'll show you in a second, but it's ridiculous. And I think it's either outlawed or like they don't. I mean, I know they don't make them and they don't use them anymore. So I have to assume that there was some kind of regulation that popped up that prevented them from actually being utilized and in you know, race spec classes. But I don't know. It's just such a cool thing. Like back in the day when I was a kid, you know, I still don't really know that much, but when I knew even less, I was like, oh man, the Hydra Drive, that's like the best thing ever. That's why Team Losi is the best, because they have Hydra Drives, and it's just like, you don't know. When you're a kid, it's just, oh man, the ignorance is just unbelievable. So let's get that started on there, and then tighten her on down. Well, that was highly successful, and I am extremely happy with the results. As you can see, my drive shafts are now incredibly shiny. Look at how shiny they are. I mean, that's got to be worth like 5 horsepower right there. It's just radiant shininess. I mean, what else can you hope for? So, yeah. The next thing I have to do. You might notice that the front is kind of flopping around. Next thing I have to do is get a servo for it. I have a servo lined up, but you know, as with anything from when I was a kid, I didn't save, or I didn't put in a good place oh wow, that's actually much smaller. The servo mounts. So the servo saver, it runs on a oh my goodness, my mind is blanking. It's got a built-in servo saver right there in the actual servo, in the steering mechanism. So it just has this horn, and because I'll be putting a Futaba servo in here, it still has the 25 tooth horn, so that'll work fine. But there's two little pieces of plastic that go right there. Don't have them. You know, they, as with anything in life, I'm sure that the minute after I get the new parts, I'll be like, wait a minute, didn't I put them in that secret magic like lockbox and then stick it under my bumper? And then I'll be like, oh man, I have an extra set of magical lockbox bumper servo mounts. But more likely than not, they're just lost forever. So I'm done, and I hope that was, I don't know, I enjoyed it. I love this kind of stuff. But yeah, I'll be making some more videos soon. So, okay, bye.